Nightmare Ariola, and you're watching Mission Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, man. I'm thinking about this fight, this Joshua versus Klitschko fight. Regardless of who you picking to win the fight, that's fine. But I'm talking about just based on styles, man. And I'm just thinking about this fight. And if Klitschko can get Joshua to react to his feints, and he can control the fight with his jab, and if Joshua, if he's stationary, then he's going to allow Klitschko to be the one that's going to, or if he allows Klitschko to be the guy that's dictating the pace of the fight with his jab and his movement with his legs, Klitschko's going to school Joshua if that happens. Even when Klitschko grabs, and he likes to grab guys, and it's a part of his style. That is a part of his style. Emmanuel Stewart taught him that, just like he used to teach it to Lennox Lewis. To me, that really never bothered me like it does some people that he holds a lot. Because like I said, Emmanuel was big on teaching his big guys to hold on the inside sometimes. There ain't no reason for you to sit there and try to be an inside fighter when that's not your strong point. Hold that little motherfucker, because usually they're fighting guys that are a little bit smaller than them. Hold that motherfucker. Let the ref break you up. But when you on the outside, keep that jab in his face and set everything up off that jab. You know what I mean? But to control your opponent on the inside, hold his ass. You know what I mean? Hold him. But if Joshua doesn't know how to deal with that holding, or now when you look at him, he looks like he can pick a fucking truck up and throw it across the pond. You know what I mean? Let alone not being able to get out of a hold in the clinch against another fighter. But it's a lot easier said than done, especially on fight night. I thought that the mass, like Tyson Fury's mass, how big he was bigger than Klitschko. His mass kind of threw Klitschko off a little bit, and he was able to wrestle and tangle on the inside with Klitschko. And I thought that surprised Wladimir, because Wladimir is used to being able to just control the clinches. And if you are a little bit stronger or just as strong as him, then he'll stay on the outside and pick you off with jabs. You know what I mean? So people are asking, how is Wladimir going to deal with Joshua's power, his youth, his strength? And, and that's one of my questions. You know what I mean? That's why I'm slightly favoring Anthony Joshua. Then I'm going off history too, just the new versus the old, and what history tells us about the new up and coming guys versus the older, future Hall of Famer, former champion type of dudes. Usually history tells us that the up and comer is going to win. You know what I mean? But there are fighters that are exceptions. The Alis and the, when their back's against the wall, they can win fights. Larry Holmes to some degree, although he didn't get it done against Spinks and Tyson. But, he did go in there and beat Ray Mercer. You know what I mean? So, or Holyfield, he couldn't get it done against either. But sometimes, the old guy can win. Look at Foreman versus Moore. You know what I mean? So this is going to be Vladimir's situation as far as coming off a loss and losing his titles and trying to come back and get a big, huge win like this. But Wladimir definitely has some fucking tools there, man, that Joshua has never. I'm not talking about sparring. I know I've heard the stories about them sparring, but I'm talking about in a fight. There's nothing. I mean, Wladimir Klitschko is on such a higher level than a guy like Dillian White, and no disrespect to Dillian White, but that's Joshua's most, probably his roughest fight as far as getting hit with shots and just a guy pushing him some rounds. It's probably his toughest fight to date. Is that enough for Wladimir Klitschko? You would look at that on paper and say, nah, this ain't enough, man. You're going to have to fight a few other guys to really get ready for that fight. But I just think Klitschko is slowing down, man. He showed it in the Brian Jennings fight, in my opinion. Then the next fight was a loss to Fury. But it's funny because, I believe, the fight before that or a few fights before that, Pulev's one of his best performances that I've seen. Bouncy on his feet. You know what I mean? When Klitschko got that bounce to him a little bit, and he's using that jab, and he's bouncing in and out with hooks and lead left hooks and lead straight right hands and that type of shit, he's hard to beat, man. Especially when he's very, very alert. It's like Klitschko's at his best when he's fighting with a tad bit of fear too, if that makes sense. Now, some of you gonna say, "What do you mean? He's not scared of nobody." I'm not saying he's scared of people, but that fear of getting hit, Mayweather was good at it too, where they can fight with a certain fear, like, I don't want to get hit. You know what I mean? And Vladimir knows how it feels to be knocked out. That's why I thought him and Emmanuel was great. Because Emmanuel knew how to give him the directions to stay out of trouble. You know what I mean? You keep a hard jab on your opponent. We're not just going to pity-pat with the jab, because people can get through that and knock you the fuck out. You keep a hard jab on them. You keep a hard right hand behind that. You keep a hard left hook behind that jab. If he can get those punches established, like those three right there, if he can establish those and get Johsua thinking, or, you know, I've seen some footage I just put up on, it was on, I think it was Eddie Hearn's Instagram, of Johsua moving around, showing some footwork, but that's not never going to be his strong suit. I don't give a fuck how many clips they put up. That's never going to be his strong suit, moving around. Johsua likes to parry, slightly move his head to get in position to hit you back. He's not a move around, dance around, stutter step, you know, double, you know, triple feints and all, you know, with his feet. That's not him. His thing is slip, turn. Like, he moves like that. But if he shows any signs of fighting robotic, I can see Klitschko dominating this fight. Not just win, but dominating him. Fury didn't show any signs of being a robotic fighter. Now, Jennings was able to walk Klitschko down a little bit behind his high guard, but Klitschko was able to keep his distance to the degree where he can use his jab, hit Jennings with what he could hit him with, and win a decision. And Jennings has a tough chin. I know he got knocked out by Luis Ortiz, man, but he was getting caught with a lot of shots he didn't see coming. A lot of the shots that he's seen from Vladimir, he's seen a lot of those shots. He was putting the high guard up, walking to him. He was getting hit with punches he didn't see against Ortiz. And it's the big boys, man. It can happen to anybody on any night. You know what I mean? But, yeah, man, if Klitschko can start landing punches that Johsua doesn't see coming, it kind of goes without saying. But he's going to fuck around and knock Johsua out. Left hook and that right hand. That straight right hand, that left hook, and that jab. If he can get that shit established and get, you know, Johsua coming to him in a robotic manner, or trying to go backwards trying to fight, it's going to be exciting, man, because just think if Vladimir comes out there and pushes the fight with Klitschko, if Vladimir pushes the fight with Johsua, he's going to force Johsua on his back foot. How is he going to look? Or is he just going to stay in his ground, slip, come back with punches to get Klitschko's respect and back him up? Just something to think about. I'm out.